here we are, scene 3, and we realized we skipped over a question, so we're going to go ahead and start there.
Yep. Pamela asked, what do you do when you hate your story? What do you do when you rewrite it? That's the beauty of writing. You can write something and hate it and go back and rewrite it. There's no rules.
Unless you start to hate it because you're editing it, which happens.
That happens, but it's a little too late to rewrite it.
It's too late. When I wanted a tsunami to come in the Atlantic and just kill everyone in Barnstable. With Reckless Abandon, it was an interesting experience because I had written quite a few scenes and saved them, things that I had really wanted to have happen or things that I just saw. And then by the time I got there in the story, they didn't fit, or I changed my outline. I mean, y'all know I talked to you. I had all kinds of crazy shit happen in RA. Like, I had Ember and Adrian getting married, and I had Bo.
She did. And I had to put my fucking foot down.
She did. Even Michelle Pace, who's a big Adrian fan, was like, it might be a little too much Adrian. Which was good, because people are saying there's too much Adrian now, but whatever. So that was a little bit different because I was like, but I really want to use this, and I couldn't, so I kind of just had to take a step back and remember the point of the whole series and where I wanted it to go. But rewrite.
Okay. Has the sex in your books happened to you in real life? Andrea Randall, a certain kitchen scene in RA comes to mind.
Okay, that's never happened. As I said before, Ember's the complete fantasy. Certain things, I mean, by the time you are writing books about sex, you know some things.
Like what things? Come on, Andrea.
This is horrible. You know some things that you like and that you don't like, and I mean, I certainly wouldn't have a character like some things that I didn't, or do some things that I find completely offensive.
Hot kitchen sex?
That's not offensive at all.
It's not offensive at all. It's very hot. Just saying.
Were you gonna answer that, or what the hell?
The children are calling.
Mm-mm.
Hold on, I need some vodka. That was for you, Jana Mashburn. Anyway, there's only one sex scene in my book. Just one.
Is that your answer?
I
guess it kind of has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, and let me just say, no, that has never happened to me. Does not mean
you've never had hair long enough to braid.
Thank you. I've got 2 hairs left on my head, and there's certainly not enough of it. Oh my! Do that again. That was great. Oh yes. Do I want something like that to happen to me? Hell yes. That's why I wrote it. Fantasy fiction. Yes, good stuff. So, moving on. Oh my gosh, Pamela Carrion. What's the one thing that, quote, does it for you?
Laura Wilson.
Oh, sorry, Laura. Laura! You people are troublemakers. So what's the one thing that does it for you? Oh.
I'm all for a cocky grin myself.
Oh, yeah, the cocky grin. You're definitely getting laid.
Boys,
yeah.
Even if you don't believe it, just do it. Just do the crooked grin once. You can wink if you want, but not unless you've practiced it, because it can look a little creepy. Mm-hmm. Just a crooked grin.
Golly. Ryan had a good Ryan Cantwell had a cocky grin. And
you answer the next question while I deal with upstairs.
Yeah, great. Hi, y'all. Howdy. I can't believe she left me here to do this. Okay. Next. If you had to do the same position for the rest of your life, what would it be? Really? Seriously? First of all, I could never choose one. Ever. I do have my favorite. Absolutely. To divulge them on a YouTube video? Are you insane?
What's the question?
Okay. If you had to do the same position for the rest of your life, what would it be? I said to divulge that on a YouTube video. Are you insane?
I would just be lucky to be doing it for the rest of my life.
And there you go. There you go.
Moving on.
Moving.
I just realized I'm the worst host ever. We haven't eaten dinner. Oh, maybe that's why my cheeks are so red, because it's vodka for dinner.
Cheers, vodka dinner. It's got apples in it, right?
Where are we? Secret fetishes?
Are we at secret fetishes there?
Laura Wilson, do you have any secret fetishes or maybe sense of secret? I don't really have any fetishes, not gonna lie. There's nothing in particular that really that is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, other than sex itself, sex is a fetish.
I was to say, my fetish is good sex.
There we are, high five. I mean, you hit me in the head a little on that one.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, it's all the vodka and no food.
I'm sorry.
She just wants to get me drunk.
And then Pamela
Spanking, chains, crosses. Good Lord! See, Andrew's crosses, even silk ties. All right, Christian Grey. Ryan O'Leary, I'd like to buy 5 blowjobs. What the hell is that?
Things got real in Randall's readers today.
Okay. Bad Ryan.
Freebie.
Who's your freebie?
I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question. So the freebie is a no consequences, in case anyone
all
doesn't
pass,
know.
Yeah.
No consequences for any party.
Nope. Yep. This is just
free zone.
Free pass to fuck. No consequences.
And I'm not answering that question. Maggie can. Well, besides Kel and Kyle.
Oh, God, Kel and Kyle.
I mean, let's sit up and get real
about
that.
Griffin.
See, I'm only reading Effortless right now. I'm late to the game, but I'm glad she's here because anytime I'm reading Griffin Speaks and I burst into a fit of laughter. He's amazing. Let's get some Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin. Griffin's good.
Okay.
But just for the record, I so have my freebie. I'm just not telling. Sorry.
Girls gotta have some secrets.
Yeah. Gotta keep some of the mystery. Do you get flustered when talking to people about your books? Not nearly as much as I get flustered with all these questions.
If it's at the book sign, the BAE, I was fine, because I was prepared and I was surrounded by all that stuff.
Yeah.
Unless people had been reading Reckless Abandon, it had just been released the week before, so I had some very passionate people coming up to my table, slamming their hands down, and I just kind of like that. I mean, I guess if they were passionate about it, I had kind of been doing my job. But at my brother's wedding in New Hampshire, one of his friends came, and his girlfriend, apparently, had read my books, and she came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I read your book." And I was, speechless for the first time ever. And now she's my best friend. I'm just kidding. She's good, though. Lindsay.
Awesome. Yeah. Only when people catch me off guard, and then it gets a little uncomfortable because we're just girls. Chicks who wrote a book. Yep, just normal chicks. So anyway, yeah, it gets a little weird, but not in a bad way. Not in a where I think that I'm appreciative of everybody who's read the book, but it is a little strange sometimes to be held up on a pedestal because we're so not worthy of that at all. We'd rather just sit down at the bar and, gather everybody around, start doing some shots, get a little rowdy.
You guys saw those pictures from Boston where she and I looked progressively awful as the night went on.
We were so drunk.
It was the vodka.
Blame it on me, because I'm such a terrible influence. Bad Maggie. All right. What made you want to write?
Tanya Hall said, "What made you want to write?"
Life made me want to write. It was the only way I could process the things that were going on. So some people, well, I shouldn't say some people have music because that's a big part of my life too, is music. But, some people exercise. Everybody's got their outlet. Everybody's got their thing that helps them kind of get through their day. And um, process all the different bits and pieces that come in and out of our lives. And writing was always it for me. Even when I was little, that's how I process things. So as far as what was it, the voices in your head, or was it always something you inspired to be? Definitely the voice in my head, but I think so half the time the voice in my head is me, and I just don't know how to articulate it unless I'm writing. So
I've also always written. I've mentioned it before. I started writing poetry. I've written that since like first grade. It's a lot harder to. I mean, I've always wanted to write. I've always had to be writing. 10 Days was the first. I mean, anything book length I ever wrote or tried to write. I don't know. It's just always, yeah, like Maggie said, it's always been a great outlet. There's a lot more destructive things one can do when they're stressed.
Yeah.
So.
And I think we've both done a couple of those things too, and have found that writing is just a better coping mechanism.
Writing is a better coping mechanism. I mean, writing 10 Days in Reckless Abandon, first 10 days was a project in my boredom. I had a broken leg and was kind of out of commission for a while, and but In the Stillness was a lot more personal, so I will leave it there.
I think that as writers, we all are fortunate enough to be able to write something personal at some point, and it's just a blessing to be able to share that with people and have it received well. So I know that In the Stillness is going to be
Don't talk about it anymore.
Very well, and I know she's all embarrassed about it, but it really is going to be received very well, and I was fortunate myself to have the final piece received well. So it's just a part of who we are. I think that regardless of how private we strive to be or not be, there's certain stories that just demand to be told.
There are certain stories that demand to be told.
Yes, and they just demand to be told. So they get told, and hopefully, we cross our fingers and we toes and we pray that people like it. And when they don't, we get together and we drink lots of vodka and we bitch and moan about our bad reviews.
We did that last night.
Yes, we did that last night. It was great. And very cathartic. Very cathartic.
I mean, if you want to leave a bad review, that's all. That's up to you. We don't call you out by name.
No, not at all. But
we just say, listen to what they said.
We just talk about you behind our backs.
I mean, granted, In the Stillness is very personal, but there are some things in there some characters in there that aren't necessarily as personal as some other things. But like she said, the stories need to be told. I feel like the characters are there and that they've asked me to tell the story. I don't know how that will sound to some people, but I just feel like it's my job to do them justice in some way.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yay.
Yay! Well, that was the last question. So,
hey.
This is Andrea Randall and Maggie Myers signing off.
And I gotta go get her some food, and then we're gonna crawl into bed with our e-readers.
Retainers.
And our retainers.
Because we're sexy like that.
We gotta keep it fresh. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed it, and maybe we'll do this again, and we can have our brownie here.
Yes! Brownie!
Right here.
In this empty space right here.
Or wouldn't it be just brilliant if when we were in D.C., we flash mobbed Charles?
Yes!
He's probably the shyest person we know. Make him do one of these.
Right. Be warned! Be warned!
Be warned, Mr. Miles. You're up! All right. Talk to you all later.
Bye, guys. Bye. Love you!